wonderful morning to you. It is February the 14th, 2024. That's all I'm going to say. Welcome to the Morning Brief. I'm Kayode Okikiolu.
Absolutely, and it's February. I can see Bukola is all dressed.
That's why I waited for you.
When I was coming, we're supposed to have a touch of something, but Bukola just came in drapes, literally. Like
she soaked herself in it.
Inside, buried herself inside. But hey, it's Valentine's Day. Happy to have you join us as always on the program. I'm Jeffrey Uzongo.
Well, what's love? Love is like the sunshine, powerful, indestructible, and it does not discriminate. We wish you that kind of love this day. Happy Valentine's Day to you, and ensure that you love responsibly. Welcome to the program. I am Bukola Koka.
I'm curious.
What is love responsibly?
I know about drink responsibly.
What does love responsibly mean?
About drive responsibly.
Well,
explain.
Oh, but I'm not going to explain. They understand.
But you know what, guys? So I did like a run around yesterday. I went to a store just to see what people are buying for Valentine's. And guess what? It was cherry to see the underwear section was still fully packed. So it just hit me that, oh, the usual suspect aren't buying underwears this year. It's either they have stepped up to other things, maybe gadgets, or they have given up entirely.
So Bukola, answer for yourselves. On behalf of them and they,
Well,
what are you guys doing this year?
I'm not shopping. I'm not buying Valentine's gifts this year, so I wouldn't know what people are buying.
Okay, don't let's let the cat out of the bag just yet, because on the show this morning, we have a special, okay?
Yes, indeed, we do.
So
there's something special.
we'll expose Bukola very soon on the show.
So you guys abandoned me on the red theme for the day. Why?
There's a touch of red. Yes.
Oh, okay, you're forgiven.
And then my blood is red,
Jeffrey,
for what it's worth.
I came with peace, white.
You know that, right? Yeah. Peace, love without peace.
Yes.
You know what? Whether you like it or not, Jeffrey and Kayode, you are going to do Valentine's Day for your wives when you get home.
Well, absolutely.
We started yesterday.
We are going to buy gifts.
There's pre-Valentine's.
We started
Valentine's
yesterday.
And post-Valentine's.
Yeah, so we started since yesterday, just that the heat is just, I don't know. Where do you live? The heat is unbearable these days. I don't know. Are we having some kind of fly on the wall heat wave that we're not noticing? What's going on exactly?
So there's severe heat actually in Nigeria. If you check the temperature, what you find is just about 30 degrees, but it actually feels like over 40 degrees
right now.
Right now, and that's what it is, severe heat. And a lot of people are asking questions. There should be some sort of advisory for people. I know we're used to this area being quite temperate. It's a bit hot. But hey, this is not what we are used to. We talk about global warming a lot. We're not the biggest polluters, but from what we've seen, we are the ones that are at risk the most. We're the ones that will be impacted the most. We're talking about the power situation. A lot of people cannot cool off.
Let's not even go there.
You know, so we need to raise these issues. We have a challenge on our hands. I mean, we've seen heat wave kill people in India, in other parts of the world.
Even in Europe.
Exactly. And we don't want that here. So it's better we started challenging these challenges. Right.
And how are you coping with the heat, by the way? Kayode talked about the power situation. In areas where there is no power supply, I wonder how the people are putting up, just ensure that your rooms are well ventilated, you know, such that, you know, the children can breathe, can be comfortable, can sleep comfortably at night without waking up and, you know, causing discomfort for everyone. Somehow we just have to cope with the power situation, and then people have to buy petrol for their generators to power their generators. You know, it must be tough at this time.
You know, I use the word convoluted when I don't know how to explain situation, because on one hand there is heat and then there's no power, and then you're saying open your windows for ventilation. You open your windows, generators of your gen, your neighbor's gen is bringing in what's that?
Carbon?
The emission as well as the noise pollution and all of that, and then we have a lot of
the heat. Generators
then the dust is a combination of a lot of things, and I think that we need to do our very best to protect ourselves. Maybe if you're showering once a day, maybe you could step it up to twice. If you're showering twice a day, maybe you can step it up to 3 times, because these days, normally when you wake up in the morning and you go to have your bath, usually when you sleep with the air condition, or whether you sleep with it or not, you wake up and you want to have your bath, you feel a bit cold. Now, even with water on your body, you're still hot. That's how intense this heat is. So I don't know what the authorities will do in terms of informing people what exactly is going on. We're not saying the authorities should fix the heat, no, but at least provide power so that we can cope with the heat.
And advisories as well from Ministry of Environment. Let there be a lot of advisory. The NOA, the National Orientation Agency, people need to know that you stay hydrated, you don't wear thick clothing, you pay attention to those little things. So we need to step up the information, communication for this particular one.
When you say anyway, I was wondering.
I know.
Like,
I know,
anyway,
right? Where's that agency?
Well, Mr. Larry Sanilu is in charge of the agency, and you'd expect that things will be stepped up. I know they've always complained about budgeting, don't have enough budget.
But it's a new administration,
alternative
so we
is to
hope
seek collaboration.
That agency will be rejigged and receive some life
And renewed, since it's a renewed hope.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So what do we have, Coyote?
A lot, aside the fact that it's Valentine's. I mean, even the carpet speaks to the fact that it's Valentine's this morning. It's not just Bukola. But here's what we have for you.
The carpet is always ready.
Here's what we have for you on the show this morning. Now, with the security chiefs giving account of their stewardship and the fight against insecurity for about 10 hours before the Senate yesterday, and the renewed call for state police, will there be a meeting point soon enough? And while the Senate gives them a vote of confidence for apprehending almost 90% of those responsible for attacks, well, there are still concerns of heightened insecurity. Zamfara is one of them. 2 policemen killed, 2 others, and scores injured. We dive deep into the security situation on the show this morning.
Now, besides security concerns, a week after the ban on alcoholic beverages in sachets and small bottles, the Manufacturers Union have made a comeback and are asking NAFDAC to reverse the ban, which they say will negatively affect thousands of people employed in the industry. NAFDAC has given its reason for the ban, but we'll hear more from the producers on the show who are organizing a nationwide protest.
Well, don't forget, it's Valentine's Day, a day originally set aside to honor a martyr named Valentine. But today, we know it more as a day to celebrate romance and love. Is there a perfect way to celebrate love amidst all the very present challenges we are facing as a people and as a country? Well, not to worry whether you have plans or not. We have a special treat for you on the show with some music and some great comedy.
Absolutely. Reminds me of that song, Valentine's is Coming. Where is your girlfriend? Well, Valentine's is here. Let's be your boyfriend and girlfriend. Not to worry. Don't allow all the people that will attention to give you, a worry. We are here for you. Plus, what's trending? Valentine's naturally will be trending, but there are other things trending this morning. So share your thoughts with us. Hashtag CTV Morning Brief across all social media platforms. And you can also do this on WhatsApp. We have our WhatsApp number for you where you can easily reach out to us. There you have it on your screen. Let us get your voices heard. If you've got videos that are newsworthy, maybe when you're celebrating Valentine's, let us have them and we'll share it with the world. So this is a morning brief. We're back in a moment with the top stories that will be forming the conversation. Stay with us. Let's begin with top stories with revelations from the trial of former Central Bank Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele, where the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, told an FCT High Court in Abuja that the signature said to have emanated from former President Muhammadu Buhari for the payment of foreign election observers was fake. Mr. Mustafa, who testified as a second prosecution witness, said the letter does not conform with the standard with which letters are written in the office of the SGF. Now, under cross-examination, he added that the business of election observers is that of INEC, and the federal government has no business with such. He also denied knowledge of any special task force on logistics, as well as anyone by the name Jibrin Abubakar, the principal officer 1 in the SGF's office. The trial judge, Justice Hamza Muazu, then adjourned the case to March the 7th, 11th, and 25th for continuation of trial. Now over to the Senate. Lawmakers met with the service chiefs and the National Security Advisor and other members of a cabinet over the challenges of insecurity in the country yesterday. Now, after the meeting, which lasted for about 10 hours, the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, commended the chiefs, saying the chamber was impressed with their determination as almost 90% of perpetrators of heinous crimes have been apprehended and will be prosecuted. But he also asked them to do more and adopt proper synergy in their operations to address the insecurity in Nigeria, just as he called for efficient funding from the Finance Minister and unification of identification database by the Interior Ministry.
Basically, the Senate decided to take this option for us to have this interaction because of the various petitions that we have received from our constituents. And as part of our major oversight function, we decided to do this through Committee of the Whole. And so it's because of the need for us to hear directly from you, and then from there we can also brief the people. If there is any need for any cause for alarm, if there is no cause for alarm, we'll also know. And if there is anything you want the National Assembly, the Senate to do, we'll do so working closely with our partners in the House of Representatives. So we welcome you. And because of the way the Senate operates, we also apologize for the starting late, because I know that many of you probably have operations or engagements that you want to undertake immediately after this. We shall try as much as possible to speed up the process. Well, away from the Senate now, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Falana, is asking the International Monetary Fund, IMF, to stop meddling in the running of affairs of the country. But the human rights lawyer also challenged the global body to stop setting what he calls double standard for Africa and European countries. He was speaking on our program, Politics Today.
There's no society, there's no country in the world where government does not subsidize one product or the other, even in the most advanced capitalist societies. And that is why Nigerians must now begin to ask the government to discard and jettison the deleterious programs and policies of the IMF and World Bank. Because just yesterday, the IMF was asking the government to remove fuel subsidy in its entirety and also increase electricity tariff. Whereas the government had told the nation and the IMF and World Bank, come, the political atmosphere in the country is not conducive.
And now to labor matters, the federal government has given assurances of resuming the payment of wage awards to workers this week. In a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Olajide Oshundu, explains that the Minister of State, Labour and Employment, Nkiruka Njojoja, gave the assurance in Abuja at a meeting with the leadership of the two labour centres on account of their 14-day ultimatum to the government. The minister also appealed to the NLC and the TUC to suspend the ultimatum as government had stepped up efforts to complete the implementation of the October 2023 agreement. Well, staying with union and labor matters, the last has not been heard on NAFDAC's alcohol ban, as members of the Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association of Nigeria have given NAFDAC 14 days to reverse its decision on sachet alcohol or risk more protests across the agency's offices nationwide. The association, an affiliate of the Trade Union Congress, says the ban will affect the livelihoods of thousands of its workers. Now, its national president, Mr. Ajebo, led the protests in the nation's capital and submitted a letter containing the demands of the union. The protest also held in Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, with the protesting workers who marched through Adodo, Ota local government area with the same demands. Meanwhile, officials of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on an enforcement exercise were attacked by hoodlums at the Area 1 Motor Park in the nation's capital, Abuja. Well, the hoodlums harassed the enforcement officers, including mobile policemen, and stoned the agency's vehicle, breaking its windscreen. Well, calm was later restored after police officers shot in the air several times and released tear gas to disperse the crowd.
It's a normal thing to us in investigation and enforcement. You can see anytime we are going, we go with our armed mopol and IPOs in case of any arrest. So upon our arrival, of course, we swung into action. And to my surprise, we have not even done half of the work. They ganged the mob, that's the drug hawkers, the hawkers. All of them absconded, but not knowing that they were ganging against us in one position. And they now came in full force, attacking us. You can see our vehicle, how they broke all the glasses, throwing stones on us. But thank God that we are with armed mopo, with the gunshots and the tear gas released on them. They subpedal and we have to leave the place to reinforce again. We are going back. We've gotten some hard drugs like refinol. You can see refinol here. And so many other ones like Balion and other controlled drugs here. Tramadol in pieces, you can see. You can see these are the drugs. And we have a lot of those that are mopped out. You can see them at the back, and some are in the vehicle. So we mopped a lot, even though we have not done all. That's why I said we are going back by God's.
Well, away from Labour matters, a visit by the UK Business and Trade Secretary, Kemi Badenoch, has attracted some more attention and, well, controversial attention, you will say, as the Nigerian Bar Association, that's the NBA, has described as totally unacceptable the news of the signing of an enhanced trade investment partnership on legal services between Nigeria and the UK. A statement by the president of the Bar, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Yakubu Mekel, says it is disheartening that a decision of this magnitude that affects adversely the well-being and livelihood of millions of Nigerians could be taken without any consultation, especially without the Nigerian Bar Association. The NBA has therefore vowed to challenge the legality of this agreement all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. Well, a statement from the UK government's website had said that the enhanced trade and investment partnership will see the UK and Nigeria's shared aspiration to facilitate each other's lawyers practicing foreign and international law in each other's jurisdiction, a step which could significantly enhance legal services collaboration and exports. Staying with business, Nigeria's oil production rose to 1.427 million barrels per day in January, and that's according to the latest data from OPEC. The figure contained in the oil cartel's monthly oil market report represents the highest production level since March 2021. According to OPEC's data, Nigeria's crude oil output rose by 91,476 barrels per day in January, marking a 6.85% increase. That's when compared to the 1.3 million barrels which was recorded in December last year. This comes as IMF is asking the federal government to completely phase out fuel and electricity subsidies. Well, sports news now, from insult to honor. You may call it that. That's the story of Alex Iwobi. But that's not just him, and other members of the Super Eagles and the technical team, all of whom the president conferred national honors on for making the nation proud at the just concluded Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. Speaking during the reception in honor of the players at the State House, President Bola Tinubu praised the team for the exemplary display of unity, determination, and resilience on the field. The president also announced the donation of a flat and a plot of land to each member of the team, as the case may be.
We salute your resilience. You lifted our spirit. You made us proud. You made us smile as Nigerians. You've not let us down. Let your spirit be lifted and be proud. Winning on a soccer field is not everything you stood for. I saw you soaking. I saw you sweating. And I admire you. And trust second, you are a true captain. You are a warrior. Osimhen is a Trojan horse. Lukman didn't look at anybody. I enjoy your camaraderie. I wish Nigeria politics is like that. As the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, to all of you, I'm honoring you with national honor, members of the Order of Niger.
Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu there. Outside the country now, a top UN official has warned that an Israeli assault on Rafah, which is Gaza's southernmost city, could lead to a slaughter. Well, humanitarian chief Martin Griffiths says Palestinians in Gaza were already suffering an assault that is unparalleled in its intensity, brutality, and scope. He says the consequences of an invasion of Rafah will be catastrophic. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to defeat Hamas gunmen, which he says are hiding in that city. In an unusually strongly worded statement, Mr. Griffiths said over 1 million people were crammed in Rafah, staring death in the face. And he says the civilians in the city had little food or access to medicine and nowhere safe to go. So those are the top stories for you this morning, but that's not all that is happening. Let's walk through some of the talking points now, and I have Bukola joining me to walk through that one.
Yes, well done, Kadi, and I quite agree with the president there about, all of the praises given to the Super Eagles. Yeah. True Stekong, a true captain. Yeah. Osime, a true Trojan horse. Yeah.
Then, Lukman said, didn't see Lukman coming.
I said something about Lukman, don't look anybody.
Something like that, played with the words. But it's good to see the boys, the men now, or the Eagles, whatever you want to call them, being rewarded for their outing at the AFCON. Don't worry, we can let Cote d'Ivoire take it this time. We'll grab it the next time. You have been talking about that particular honor for the Super Eagles, and you trust Nigerians to take what you call the comedic angle to things. So let's walk through what you've been saying, particularly about that reward for the Super Eagles. You see this one, Christine Albert, 91, an ex, and this is what Christine Albert, 91, says. The question is, so those of us that bought Phil to cheer them, waiting can be our game. Okay. I get it, I know.
We get it, right?
Don't worry, we get at least the excitement and the heartbreak as well when we didn't win. But hey, that's what Christian Albert has to say about that one.
Well, the silver medal is our reward, and we're proud of the Super Eagles. They defended our national pride. So that's good enough.
That's good enough.
And we hope the president will put the icing on the cake by giving Nigerians all of their expectations, delivering.
That will be a perfect one, right?
Yeah.
But it just goes to show the fact that it's football, it's 11 versus 11. Don't try to, stress yourself out. It's just 11 people playing against 11 people. You're not on the field, so take it easy on yourself.
Well, this one is from Silmani, and he says, or she says, I congratulate the Super Eagles for their achievements, and I thank President Tinubu for his appreciation and support.
So
if the president didn't do anything, if the federal government didn't do anything, we'll be back here condemning the federal government. So we're grateful.
Okay, you see this one from Nira Cake 54439, and it's again that angle, saying that the president actually tried for the Super Eagles, but not for Nigerians. Goes on to say, there's suffering, there's hunger, people are really tired. And I think that speaks to what you were talking about earlier, Bukola.
Yeah, and indeed, this one is from Daniel, and Daniel says, just a simple line, congratulations, Super Eagles players.
And Daram Zokpayemi essentially saying it's good to honor these guys. Very good one. They made Nigerians happy and united for a short period of time, and it was worth it. But why don't we move on? Why don't we carry all that and continue with it? We don't need the Super Eagles. They don't play every time, so we can't just unite when they're playing. We should always be united, absolutely.
Absolutely. So. That's instructive there, Kayode. This one is from Oyeni Samuel, and he says, this is how to reward hard work, not by wearing authentic jersey. Now, I don't know who he was referring to, but the way they were rewarded, perfect.
Shots fired there.
Particularly that national honor.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Shots fired there. You know what? I'm just going to leave that out. Hashtag CTV Morning Brief if you have something to say about that one. Also, NYSC has been in the news. Recall NYSC has been saying that, well, we've reduced posting, in fact, stopped posting core members, youths, to areas that are deemed insecure, volatile in terms of security. But then there's been a lot of chatter around that on social media, and this is what some have had to say, perhaps people who've had experiences with the posting. And this is Cans 11_ saying, if you're posted to a dangerous location, don't go, please. You're on your own. NYC won't pay your ransom. And I know that it's a sad narrative, but it's the reality for a lot of people. We're just talking about Zamfara, the kidnapping. Just yesterday, two policemen, 2 other people killed. So you understand where this is coming from.
Absolutely. This one is from Ademola, and it's a simple line. Somebody said this is a page from NYSC orientation book, and there's a quote there from the NYSC orientation book. Do we have time to go through it?
Yeah, basically, I think it's quite clear about, when you're traveling in high-risk roads such as Abuja and the rest.
Kaduna, Port Harcourt roads, then alert your family members, friends, and colleagues in order to... Well, I'm not quite sure about this page. I think the NYSC has since disowned this particular page. So
there you see what people are saying about that on X. A couple of more things making the rounds, but let's talk about Access Bank. And I got a lot of people talking yesterday, coming off that sad event over the weekend and then the spillover. But this is what's been said about Access Bank. In less than 48 hours, Access Bank has announced a new acting CEO after demise of a previous one. And, well, it's important to note that this is a very difficult time for the company itself. And also, more importantly, the people, the family who have lost loved ones. So it's important to be charitable with what we say. It's never easy, and it never leaves you losing someone, not just one person, a family. It's never easy. So let's be charitable, let's be guided. The fact that we have freedom of speech doesn't mean we shouldn't be charitable about what we say, and I think that's what should guide us moving forward.
Yeah, thank you, Kayode, for those instructive words there. And I think I'll just go on to what Ikenna Ahanotu is saying, and this is it. Herbert Ike Imokwede and Bolaji grew Access Bank to where it is today. She was the head human resources for the bank. Let's hope she's able to continue from where Herbert, that's the MD who has now passed on, left off.
So there you go. Perhaps can give you insights to some of the talking points across the board. But we'll take a moment now, and when we return, we'll begin with the hard topics of the day. Yes, it's Valentine's Day. We've not forgotten that. But there are real issues that we also have to deal with as a nation. So we'll get deep into it, and we'll build it up from there. This is a Morning Brief right here on Channels Television, Valentine's Day edition. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Morning Brief. Let's start with the big issue for the day and the hard ones, as Coyote has said, before we get to the moment where we talk about Valentine. And it has to do with the issue of the regulator NAFDAC banning sachet alcohol, and that has gotten reaction from the stakeholders in that particular space. That's why we're joined by one of them to hear their own side of the story, why they are protesting against the ban, and they've also, I think, given an ultimatum. We've been joined from via Zoom by the National President, Food, Beverage and Tobacco Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Mr. Ajebo. Mr. Ajebo, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning, and good to join you.
Well, I know that you've made a lot of cases, some of the cases you've made about, as a stakeholder, as far as this ban is concerned, but I want to maybe not say verbatim what exactly they said. I'm talking about the regulator NAFDAC, but they mentioned the fact that children who drink alcohol are more likely to use drugs, get bad grades, suffer injury and death, engage in risky sexual activity, bad decisions, and have health problems, which basically is saying that one of the reasons why they are worried and had to go ahead with this ban is from their own research. They found out that access is easy and abuse became inevitable, especially for underage children who may not have the discretion to decide how responsibly they can use this. I don't know whether that's not good enough for the association to reason with the regulator as far as this ban is concerned.
Thank you very much. I think sometimes in order for you to hang a dog, you give it a bad name. I don't know if you have ever seen a situation where an underage, after getting drunk, misbehave along the street. Have you seen one? I doubt if you have seen one, and I have not seen either. Okay? The excuse that it is easily accessible by underage is just a propaganda as far as I'm concerned. If that is the case, there are so many other things that children can have access to. All what the authority needs is all about regulation. It's just about regulation. Because if we know too well that, yes, underage can access it, or have access to it. All they just need to do is to have access control. Who do the dealers sell to? And if I will also remind you, DBAN, which is the Distillers Association of Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria, has placed several adverts, you know, kind of passing the message that adults should drink responsibly, while underage should not be given access to such products. Okay? Which is enough message to also guide the authority in taking their decision. If you also look at the tobacco sector, you see a situation where the producers says smokers are liable to die young. Okay? That is an attempt to also dissuade people, okay, not to have access of it. So if NAFDAC is coming to say, oh, because they are easily accessible to children, to me, it's a propaganda. Because this thing did not just start today.
Mr. Ajebo, are you saying that a regulator as NAFDAC will not have empirical data to support their stance before they come out to ban this?
Sir, it is just a propaganda. They don't even have the statistics to show for what they are claiming. No statistics. They just come up on the air to say, oh, because children can have easy access to them, these products are banned. There is no statistics as far as I am concerned at this point. So if they have such data, let them throw it to the public. I challenge them, let them throw it to the public to say, these are the available data that shows children have access to these products.
Well, Mr. Ajebo,
there's not.
Just before I move on to the next point, are you ruling out the possibility that children may hide this from their children, from their parents, you know, along with other activities that, you know, toe the path of youthful exuberance, they could hide this from their parents. And evidence suggests that a lot more youths are indulging in related conducts that are unwholesome, for instance, drug abuse.
No matter how children hide it from their parents, it must one day come to the open. It must one day come to the open. And so when it comes to the open, we challenge NAFDAC to say, give us the data of what we have. So based on the data we have, we can begin to engage ourselves and see how better we can handle them. So once they come up with their data, honestly, what we need at this point is constructive engagement. Let us see how best to handle it, not outright ban. Not outright ban. Of course, whether you like it or not, so many things we take in is subject to abuse, not only alcohol, even the food you take, even the bar you eat, it is also subject to abuse. And that is the more reason why people say enough is better than too much. All you need to do is to take something that is commensurate with your health. We have said that severally. Enough is better than too much. Drink responsibly and don't sell to any underage. That message is already in the public domain. And so there is no way NAFDAC will come and hold producers liable on this. So what they need to do is to come out with policies, regulations that will guide the purchase and consumption of these products.
Well, speaking of regulation, NAFDAC is also saying that the Association of Food, Beverage and Tobacco Employers, AFBTE, and Distillers and Blenders Association of Nigeria, DBAN, signed an agreement with the Ministry of Health, NAFDAC and the FCCPC in 2018 December that they will phase out production of alcohol in sachet and PET bottles less than 200 ml by January 31, 2024. Mr. Ajebo, are you aware of that document? Perhaps that document was signed before you became president of the association. FOPTOP, I believe, is what you're called.
To me, I don't have, I've never laid my hand on such document, but if that is to be, let's assume that is to be. Okay? The memorandum of understanding they signed is not a law. It is a memorandum of understanding. And if you go into signing a memorandum of understanding, what do you do when the expiration date comes? You still have to engage the stakeholders who were part of that agreement to review the processes. So if there's a point to review, we review. You don't just come, we had the memorandum of understanding, the date of expiration came, and then unilaterally you just place a ban. Come to the factories and sell it up. That is not the way to go. I had expected that NAFDAC would have engaged the stakeholders, those who were there when the agreement was signed, to also take a look. Have we done anything right? Have we done anything wrong? Where it is wrong, what do we do to correct it? That is the way to go, not outright ban, because the consequences is very, very grievous.
So this was not contained in the handover notes given to you, and even if it was not, don't you think that shouldn't the association be bound by document it signed to?
We are not part of that agreement.
All right.
We are not part of that agreement. NAFDAC never engaged the union in any agreement.
But
if they choose, they have, let them throw it to you.
But it is said that the Association of Food, Beverages and Tobacco Employers were part of that, and I imagine it will have trickled down to the workers that are members of your union. I understand, but I'm saying that workers in your union are employed by the employers who were a part of this particular agreement. And in fact, NAFDAC, forgive me. NAFDAC said categorically that they stopped the registration of alcoholic beverages in January 2022. So it doesn't appear abrupt, as some people have said it. So it was said that, well, registration has stopped, but we'll gradually phase it out.
Have you seen the content of that document? Have you seen the content of that document?
Are you saying that that is not true, that NAFDAC is not telling the truth?
I never said it is not true. What I'm saying is that, have you seen the content of that document?
Yes, I'm reading a statement from NAFDAC to you.
If two of, let's just paint a scenario.
Yeah.
You have a tenant in your house. Okay? You have agreed that you will pay X naira at the end of every year or at the end of every month. If you have any reason to quit the man, would you engage him?
Okay, Mr. Ajebo, I just need you to either confirm or otherwise that this is true or not. I'm reading a statement by NAFDAC.
I have said it that the union were never part of that agreement.
Okay.
If there's an agreement between the employers and NAFDAC, it's a different thing. But what I'm also saying is that if such agreement exists, it will take the two bodies or any other party that is part of it to come back to look at what they have signed years back. Okay. The reason for this is to see whether there is a way they can also kind of review the processes.
Comrade,
and then address the concerns of NAFDAC.
Right. I know that you raised the issue about how this will adversely affect those employed within that sector. It's also been said that the products are not only just in sachets, that the manufacturers have the option of bottling it in the bigger bottles. So it's not as though they are phasing out the manufacturers entirely. But I find it curious, and I need to make this point, that you said that there's no proof, or NAFDAC should give proof, that underage are consuming alcohol from time to time. I don't know if you've been to motor parks, if you've been on the streets. There is a challenge of even drug abuse with underage, particularly in those areas, and alcohol plays a major role. I have seen personally, and I don't know if that's proof enough for you, young people purchasing alcohol in small sachets and sipping on it at different times of the day. So I really find it curious that you say that. Some might say maybe you are trying to hide from the truth.
It's not hiding from the truth. First of all, you are talking of it was not outright closure that we still have to leverage on the big pack sizes, right?
Yeah.
Everything the company is doing, because of the nature of our economy, okay, it is targeted at people who can afford it. Affordability is the essence of having the smaller pack sizes. Because how many of us can go and buy a bigger bottle? So closing the company for the sake of the smaller pack sizes is as good as closing the entire company. Because that is where the source of their income comes. That is one. Two, you mentioned garage. Garage is not an environment for children. Garage is not an environment for children, unless of course they are traveling. It is for adults. And that is why I continue to say garage is never an environment for children.
Mr. Ajebo, I think you maybe let's put it proper. Not like to respond, but we're talking about children. We're talking about underage, and by the Constitution, anybody below 18 is underage. So I don't know where you live. I don't know where you've been to, but young people consume a lot of alcohol. I do not know whether you know about that. Young people, maybe that will work for you. Maybe your problem with the argument is the word children. So let me expand it to say underage young people.
On that age is 17 down below. And I've just answered your question that you said the garage.
And other places.
And other places. And other places, we're just using garage to just posit it, because we've had incidents of even adults consuming this thing, hit the road, and people die because of drivers consuming alcohol. But unfortunately, yes, just land on your thought, because we're totally out of time.
If you want to if you want to hang a dog, you give it a bad name. I ask you this question: have you seen any underage child, after getting himself or herself drunk, misbehave along the street? Have you seen one?
No, that argument may not hold, because sometimes they have to do these things. Mr. Ajebo,
that will lead me to another. Have you seen one?
Well, I just actually told Mr. Ajebo that I have seen young people purchasing alcohol.
This thing in sachet.
You have not been specific about the age.
Underage, below 18.
Underage, Mr. Ajebo. Well, I understand where you're coming from. I understand that investments to the tune of 12 trillion naira has been, according to the data we have from you. So it's understandable that you make this argument to defend your business, but we need to find a balance so that people will be alive at the end of the day and will not expose our young people. So I'm sure that NAFDAC, as well as your organization and other sister organizations, will come together to find a way to keep our society safe. But I must thank you, Mr.
The
Ajebo.
problem NAFDAC is creating as a result of this ban, the problem NAFDAC is creating as a result of this ban is far greater than what is trying to solve.
All right, Mr. Ajebo is the national president,
Yes.
Tobacco, Beverage, and Tobacco Beverage Senior Staff Association of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that we continue this conversation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
There's a lot to talk about, apparently, as far as this ban is concerned. But we'll switch gears now to other issues, especially the issue of security. If you look at the numbers, civilians, people in the military, the police, vigilante, and others have been killed, one form or the other, across our country at different times, different years. And the resurgence of insecurity across part of the country is giving a lot of people concern. That is why we will be having that conversation, because yesterday, the National Assembly engaged the service chief in a security briefing, about 10 hours conversation. What did they say? What was the outcome of that conversation? We'll try to explore that conversation when we come back. Join us again.
Governors under the People's Democratic Party arriving the Oyo State Governors Lodge for the first meeting of the forum for the year. The meeting is holding behind closed doors to discuss the current economic challenges and security situation in the country, as well as developments within the party. After several hours of the meeting, the governors assert their position on the state of the economy and security.
We have been partnering even as opposition to make sure that we don't bring any distraction. But certainly the monetary policies and the economic policies rest here. And we can see that we know the majority of Nigerians live in the states. And so we are doing so much across party lines on a bipartisan basis within the Nigerian Government Forum, within the National Economic Council, to make sure that we cushion the effect of some of these policies that have far-reaching consequences on our people. We reiterate our call with the state police with appropriate safeguards to avoid any abuse or overreach by any chair of government.
The governors also discussed developments within the party.
Further, the forum passed a vote of confidence in the Iliad Amagun-led National Working Committee NWC of the party, and urge it to put in motion the necessary machinery for convening meetings of the appropriate organs of the party, from caucus to the National Executive Committee NEC, as soon as possible. We are 100% behind the law, and you can see there is no rancor, there is no division, and we are very much behind the National Working Committee and the state chapter of the party, and indeed the governor, to make sure that we go together in unison, in unity, to produce a successor for our most respected, the eldest governor in the governor's forum.
The governors pledged to work together to build a strong opposition, while pledging to take the necessary steps to address the impact of the high cost of living in the country.
So that meeting happened, and right after, next day, we had the Senate meeting with the service chiefs, and that meeting ended just after 9 p.m. yesterday. The president of the Senate came out and said some resolutions were made. There should be more synergy amongst the security agencies. In fact, the security agencies were commended for arresting, 90% of those perpetrating the heinous crimes. A lot more issues were raised. They talked about unifying all of those databases, and the Minister of Interior was also there, was given that charge, as well as other things. By the way, the Minister of Information has since responded to the governors, the PDP governors, about the situation in Nigeria, saying that, well, we're not close to Venezuela. Yes, we have challenges, but we're not close to Venezuela, as was said in that one. But let's talk about these updates and perhaps a way to find a meeting point so we can resolve all of the security challenges which we have on our hands. And we're joined on the program this morning by Mr. Onyekachi Adekoya, a security consultant, joins us live from our Abuja studio. Mr. Onyekachi Adekoya, thank you for joining us on the Morning Brief.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to the viewers.
Good morning. Well, you're in the nation's capital. That's where that meeting happened yesterday between the service chiefs, members of cabinet, and the Senate. The president of Senate came out to speak about that. I imagine you caught some of the things that were said, but the Senate president commending the security agencies for, making arrests 90%. He said that was a figure given to him. But yesterday we've seen incidents in Zamfara, for example, policemen killed, even residents as well killed, scores kidnapped. So people are trying to balance that. Arrests have been made, 90%, that's a lot. But we're still seeing these insecurities in this sort of large scale. So what may we be missing? And this is for the millionth time we're probably asking that question, Mr. Adekoya.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I wouldn't go into any argument with the Senate on the numbers presented to them by the security agencies. But what we can just look at for a fact is that year to date, there has been about 722 persons kidnapped in Nigeria. That's just year to date. The statistics would suggest that there's been a sustained uptick. Now, I understand the need for politicians to give some sense of calm to the people, but it's not a fault of any administration, because if you look at insecurity in Nigeria, in the Sahel, across Africa, since 1999, as a matter of fact, between the period of 2000 and 2003, Africa recorded less than 100 cases of terrorism. But since the start of a number of anti-terrorism activity, I think the number has grown to over 23,000 thereabout just last year. So there are a number of factors that are external. There are a number of factors that are also entrenched, that are also systemic. Coming down to the problem, and to answer your question, what we are seeing, we're suffering from a misappropriation of force, a misappropriation of resources. Also, we are suffering from wrong diagnosis of the problem, really. The problem is not with the service chiefs, to be fair to them. That's why when you see the change successive service chiefs, the problem remains. The problem, I dare say, is with the National Assembly and the state houses of assembly to find the will to solve the problem head on. I heard the PDP governors call for state police. It's not anything new. In 2022, the northern governors and northern political elites supported and came to say they support state police. I think in a meeting also attended by the Sultan of Sokoto. Sometime in 2018, all the governors in Nigeria, I think there are about 30 governors or so, led by then Governor Yari, also came out to claim that it's time for state police. So I think we are building consensus generally now on the way forward, because really, those service chiefs cannot do beyond the remit of what the law allows them to do, and the resources they have and the scope of work given to them. Calling in the service chiefs for 24 hours is not the way to resolve the issue. What we should see is a meeting with the leadership of the House of Assembly, the state governors, and the presidency, of course with the Minister of Interior, and then the Minister of Police Affairs, and then find and fashion a way forward that takes policing initiative back to the communities, back to the subnational level, because yours truly, the president has no business really with internal security. He should be bothered more with the territorial integrity of the country and, pursuing our national interests and securing those interests using the tools already given to him, which would be the military, of course, international diplomacy, the NIA and other, federal-looking agencies. So I think that's the way to go, really. This whole every day call the service chief in, that's all cosmetic, if you ask me.
So, Mr. Adekoya, you have said something significant, that the challenge really is not about the service chiefs, and each time they're changed, we're back here having the same conversation about the same challenges. So the Senate met with the service chiefs and all other leaders of security agencies for 10 hours. I imagine that strategy would have been discussed. The needs of the security agencies may have been discussed. Are you optimistic that now that there is a consensus building towards the need for state policing, that honest conversations about the real issues will lead us somewhere soon, very shortly?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. With profound respect to our senior colleagues and colleagues in the military sector, before now, when you talk about security, you want to call a major general or a retired military officer. With profound respect, the public order, public safety is not their forte. Nigeria is trying to build a $1 trillion economy. We are not trying to build $1 trillion military barracks. That's not what we really need. We need a society that is safe and secure for investment to thrive and for economic development to go forward. So we need to look again at the 2019 National Security Strategy document and improve on it. We said as a country we would now begin to focus more on human security. You cannot do human security without economic prosperity or some form of economic reforms and heading in the right direction. You cannot do economic security when the people cannot find means to achieve their own aspiration in a safe and secure environment. So even our national security posture is threatened by the macroeconomic challenges we are having and the fact that strategy is almost all over the place, because most times we seem to be very reactive. Now, importantly, we are achieving consensus because the old school of thought that presupposed that force must always be controlled and retained from Abuja have seen themselves that that's not sustainable. Like you said in your opening report, even the military is not safe. The military is not safe because they are in the community. They have to transport from point A to point B. They are also being kidnapped. The barracks themselves are within the community. So if you have a community that is not properly policed, you may have 50 caliber machine guns all around your barracks. You still have to go through the communities to that secured spot. So the insecurity has come on to roost, as it were.
Yeah, Mr. Adekoya, just as we begin to wrap up, I think the issue of state policing for some people should not be an isolated conversation. Maybe to broaden the conversation. And I'm asking because you see this government taking it, elevating that conversation to the issue of restructuring, because sometimes insecurity is just an effect. We need to look at cause, and controls across board and resources and all of that also play a role when we look at the history. So do you expect this government to be brave enough to do the hard job of ensuring that it looks at the entire issue of restructuring, which state policing comes under?
Spot on, spot on. I would be surprised if this government that campaign on restructuring does not restructure. It's a campaign promise that the APC made. If you look at where the president is coming from Lagos State, for example, they had been at the forefront of campaigning for state police. Lagos was among the first states to set out that infrastructure with his Lagos State Security Neighborhood Watch. That's been there. That's what the president is known for, the clamor for true federalism. And now he has the opportunity in history to set this country aright in the right direction. And so, you see, the National Assembly meeting with the service chiefs are an appointee of the president. You know, short of calling the president to the National Assembly, which with profound respect, I think that they should be doing, to have a conversation, a more serious conversation, because you have the conversation with the service chiefs who answer to somebody. What are they supposed to do? The ultimate power lies within the office of the president. So again, what the president, I expect, should be doing sincerely is to call the governors and the leadership of the National Assembly, perhaps also with the leadership of the State House of Assembly, into a security conference. Have a 2-day, 3-day workshop and hash out the fine lines of how to go forward with the initiative of state policing. One of the big concerns that they will have would be with weapons classification. And that's too easy to do. You know, rather than have weapons proliferation across the country, you can class the weapons for state police and limit it to service pistols. For example, they may require some tactical squads and team, limit the number, resource them with that number, control the number. If you look at the Mopo squadron we have across the country, there are about 79 squadron of them, stationed across the country at strategical points. Those points, those forces are there on a call-out basis to serve as quick reaction teams, either for riots or any actions that are snowballing out. So call back federal deployments, specialize, then have crack specialized team deployed in those formations across the country as you would. Let the state police be at the front line, be the first point of contact to act as a force multiplier to the federal police, to the National Guard, in this case civil defense, and then to the military. But what we find in the country is that an incident occurs, we put the resource we should put last, first. We throw in the military first. And what simply happens is that the military goes in on a search and destroy mission, level the place, cannot embed with the civilian populace. They leave sometimes with more trouble, with more sentiments of, oh, they are for us, they're against us. That's why you can see the Nigerian military come out to say, support us as you support the Nigerian Super Eagles. The problem is not with the military. Right. It's that we are setting up the current systems and the current service chiefs to fail. What we need, as you have said, is a true rework of this federalism that we preach. And security is expensive. I understand from the perspective of the government. Well, the state governors at the subnational level. You cannot do security without funding. Yeah. The governors are already doing the funding. But let's make the argument to say that we free-floated our currency. The dollar to naira is now 1,000 something. I don't know what it is today. It changes about every day. Right. But whatever it is, there's more money at FAC to be shared. So we can, at this point, begin to fund state policing. The critical issue of funding is out of the way. And yes, we must restructure to go forward. Yeah.
Very interesting points you made, and I hope it's not preaching to the choir, because as you said, this government came on with the promise of restructuring. But guess what? The previous government came on with the promise of restructuring as well, but it never happened. We saw what happened with the Constitution amendment process was thrown out. So we'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Oyekachi Adekoya. Quite important points you have made, and it's important to keep making these points. So we'll hold government to account. Thank you so much for your time. I would have said happy Valentine's, but I'm not sure if security people indulge in such, such things. But
you will be surprised. But happy Valentine's to you too.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Adekoya. Well, we'll take a moment now on the show, and when we return, we'll get into our Valentine's Day special. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, absolutely. Now, we've dealt with some of those hard issues. Let's do some relaxing, let's laugh, do some music. It's still the morning brief. Stay with us.
Hey, I get your back. You done ready? Let's go get it done.
A few moments later.
Nigga, now where we they go? We go sing warrior song. Zabu zabu, zabu, zabu zabu, Shebi na back of this wall. Yes, attack! Hope you didn't get that clear there. Get them down, make them know say the champion is in town. Mommy! Take one long. What's happen? Go call my mama. Relationship never started. Don't break my heart.
Welcome back to the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television. So it's Valentine's Day, and you know, that argument is out there. The jury is still out there about how we should appropriately celebrate Valentine's Day. You know, especially the men would say, oh, we should celebrate love every day. But the women want a special day set aside for them to be celebrated. And of course, we're justified, aren't we? I know the women are on my side on this one. And, you know, little wonder that I'm alone wearing red on Valentine's Day, but I'll forgive them. As we now proceed to have this conversation, let's welcome one of Nigeria's most humorous, funniest, most creative comedians, Ajebo. Welcome to the Morning Brief.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Well, where's your red? You're not wearing red.
Yeah, see?
These are the issues.
Yeah, these are the issues. That's why I said you guys left me alone.
We're still mourning the Super Eagles lost. So.
They have the national award.
They're not mourning at this time.
They're not mourning. Plot of land and property.
Affected my emotions, so we're not doing Valentine this year.
As if you knew where I was headed. So, how are you celebrating Valentine's Day? How should it be celebrated, Ajebo?
I think basically, like you said, personally, I think we celebrate love every time, you know, but like the women just want it to be like, just celebrate it, just do something. So today, maybe when I get home, I think I've booked a spa treat with my wife, after which we will go back home and see a movie together and hang together. That's all.
Beautiful.
Everybody will be happy. Everybody will be fine.
So it's just all talk. You're romantic at the end of it.
Well, what can I do? I'm the only man in my house. I have 3 daughters and my wife, so I have no choice.
Your vote is only one. There's majority on the other side. You're a minority.
Exactly. I have no choice.
Beautiful scenario. So there'll be lots of Valentines in the future in your house.
Yes. And lots of bride price as well. Lots of bride price. I've already placed the first one aeroplane, second one airport. I don't want too much.
You don't want too much.
The third one helicopter. Let's just manage it, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that. The Ajebo daughters don't come cheap.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. We're already investing. Come on. You know, Lekki school fees is not cheap. You know, when I went to register my first daughter at 2, they said the school fees was 1.4 million. I said, what? They said it's play group. I said, that's rough play.
Okay, I guess there'll be more jokes ahead. But let's talk about Tegwolo.
Yeah.
My children have, you know, they have a binge on Tegwolo during the holidays especially. Yeah. And you are 7 of the characters in that cartoon. Tell us about that.
So Tegwolo is my story, first of all. When I was growing up, I was prayer point for my mom. You know, stubborn Pro Max.
But without the head.
So, like, I was that kid that, you know, you go to school, you come back with my shorts would openings in my shorts, on the knee, at the bum, you know, just because I would always play rough, tear my school uniform. And I was very, very, anything I watch, I must replicate, you know. So, and at the time, it was Jackie Chan, when Jackie Chan, so I didn't just used to fight number 5. I used to put the soundtrack here. You know? So, at some point, when I said I was going to do animation, I wanted to bring the character to life, you know. And then at the time, the jokes were worry. So I was like, you know what, let's get the worry name. Tegwolo came. And then I had this classmate back in primary school that had bicycle. We used to call him bicycle seat head. The hairs like so we just exaggerated the ogo more, you know, and it came out beautiful. You know.
Absolutely. I know that it's a hit, not just for Nigerians here, but Nigerians in diaspora.
Actually,
when a lot of people want to, in fact, a lot of people have that. Once they come to Nigeria, the first thing they want to say is, I'm looking for the Tegwolo character, because imagine you'll see Tegwolo on the streets. And it's brilliant how you've been able to tell Tegwolo's story. And I mean, you have thousands of subscribers on YouTube. Your videos are
millions, actually.
Hundreds of thousands of...
Millions.
Sorry, millions. I meant the views. Your videos amass from hundreds of thousands to even millions.
We have 6 to 10 million views monthly.
Wow.
And about 2 million subscribers.
And that's ongoing.
And that's ongoing. Yeah, every month there's 6 to 10 million views monthly, and then we have 1.96, almost 2 million subscribers.
Don't worry, we'll get you to 2 million. Let's get it to 2 million. So it's beautiful the work you've done, building this literally from the scratch. You've talked about the inspiration behind this, and I'm glad that this is a true story. That's what really sells, the true story. But also, when you tell the story, what are you trying to achieve, really? What are you usually trying to send across, aside humor, obviously?
Okay, so it's the African story. Everybody that watches it can. It's very relatable. You see yourself in the character, and we want Africans to be proud of their own. Growing up for me, most of the cartoons that we watched were foreign-based, right? And then somehow it seemed like it's the foreign ones that were genge. So there was something to talk about with, you know, when it comes to our own. Except with the ones we were Tales by Moonlight, which they used illustrations and all that. So we want African kids to see themselves in the cartoons. Want them to be able to talk about their own. Oh, growing up I watched. When you say, when the Western guys say they have Superman, tell them you have Tegwolo. You know, when those guys talk about Coco Melon, tell them you have Jenny and Kenny, you know, which is what the new one that we have just created. In fact, the new channel I just launched is called Jenny and Kenny. It's the learning and entertainment channel for kids with Afrofusion. Right? The characters were beautiful Ankara. All the songs, all the nursery rhymes we have recreated with Afrobeat. I'm on piano. Like, it's groovy, you know, like kids should have something for them. Kids are jumping on Adult Challenge, you know, they're doing, and it's, you know, the ratings is obviously 18 and kids are dancing to it. Kids are watching Nollywood and, you know, those summer just, so we want them to have what is African, made by African, that carries the African values, right? He who pays the piper dictates the tune, right? And right now, I'm sure you guys are aware that there's a lot of, they've injected a lot of adult content in kiddies cartoons, the Western world. In fact, some of the nursery rhyme channels now have drag queens, you know, 2 daddies, 2 mommies. It's very, very pronounced. And no disrespect to their own values, but as Africans, as a father of 3 daughters, I want my kids, there's certain values I want to instill in them, and then I instill it. And it goes across my projects. We're African, Tegolo is pidgin. It's pure pidgin, you know. And people call in and say, this is the closest my kids have to Africa. People in diaspora, you know, my kids are learning how. Because trust me, our generation of children will learn pidgin on apps. We're shielding them from these things, those realities of the street, you know. I grew up in Surulere. I'm an Ajebo boy, you know, but then my parents wanted me to have the best education. It worked out fine for me. I have a blend of both. But the way I'm guiding my children.
So you're guilty as well.
I'm guilty.
Which is why you're creating these things.
Exactly. So we need to start to infuse those values in our content and also export our culture. You know, so when people, we can start, and then the quality of animations across board, we keep improving on it so that it can stand shoulder to shoulder with any brand internationally.
So for you, what's the big picture? I know you've responded to why children is the focus. Apparently, you are trying to make sure you rewrite as much as possible. So what's the big picture for you? What do you see ahead of you with what you're building? Because I see that you're building something.
Right.
And in building this thing, there's a big picture. What is that big picture?
Basically, we're trying to, the big picture for me is to build the Disney for Africa. Some years ago, I had to travel to Disney to see for myself, because I kept saying, this is the dream, but sometimes you need to see. And I couldn't even finish the tour in 3 days of Disney. When I came back, I said, are you sure I will not remove the knee? And just come and said, the D's of Africa. It was so huge, but they started somewhere. Right, it's somewhere. Right now, we want to start to try to bring our characters to life. The Tegolo character, Mama Tegolo. We want to see how we can, bring kids offline this Easter and see how, I want to watch how they engage with the character. We experimented with the merchandise. Somebody wore a T-shirt and entered the market. And then kids were running up, Tegolo, Tegolo. So it means that there's something that we have that we can give African kids. And the big picture for me is that someday, sometime, we'll own our own Disneyland.
So when you look at the reception, and you track, who are you getting to the most, the parents or the children?
So we started off getting at the parents and youth, right? That was my target with the Tegolo brand, because it's comedy. And then it's only kids that can give you that kind of views. It's kids. Like when they latch in it, they're the ones that will watch over and over and over and over again. So when I saw that kids were also latching on it, it was hot topic in primary and secondary schools. We're like, okay, how do we explore? If you watch some of the episodes, we started throwing in some, some moral lessons. Like there's one episode where Tega, who is Tegolo's hype man, who is more brutal, but that always leaves him when he's in trouble. It was like Tegolo was trying to say he had a crush on somebody, and the girl came from London. I was like, don't talk to me. I don't want to be around someone with your kind of head. And Tega said, my leader, maybe we go Russia. And Tegolo said, no, you can't put your hand on a woman. We have to learn to be gentle boys so we grow into gentlemen. That's a message for the boy child. Everybody is concentrating on the girl child, right? But you see, if you train the boy child well, we will not have a problem, in the future. So we're trying to infuse some of those things. No matter how mischievous he is, we make sure that there's a moral lesson. He doesn't get away with it. He never gets away with his mischief, So these are some of the things that we're imputing to make sure that, and then let me talk about Jenny and Kenny a little bit. So because of how much we have seen the drive of children, we're like, you know what? Let's give them something that is for them. So Jenny and Kenny, a boy and a girl, and they are just singing. So it's like the Cocomelon for Africa. I think that summarizes what it is, But then we have original songs on kindness. We have songs about no bullying zone. My daughter is 3. She knows the meaning of, she understands the entire concept of bullying. Like she uses the word, someone tried to bully me, but I stood up for myself. And then you try to say, don't be a bully, don't do that, don't be a bully. If we start to teach these kids this thing in the language they understand, the trend of music is Afrobeat, so they already dance to this, to our sound. And then so that's the entire concept of Jenny and Kenny. Infuse this theme. We have songs on literally any theme that you can think of that children should be aware of.
But we need to get into your Valentine heartbreak stories as well. It's Valentine's Day. That's your beautiful family.
Yeah, we have a third now.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
beautiful.
The helicopter on the airplane.
I'm trying to look for the one that looks like Daddy there.
This is the airport.
Okay, so
the third one is the helicopter.
Yeah.
So talk to us about some of your,
the suitors I've heard.
Valentine's experience. It's Valentine's Day, and we usually pay Valentine's with breakfast. People eating their fair share of breakfast, heartbreaks, people running out. I was at the store yesterday and I saw the underwear section was still full. So I'm like, oh, thank God. The usual suspect time buying underwear this year, or they've even given up entirely.
We've scaled up. We have told them we don't want boxers and singlet anymore.
What do you want?
I can manage a land in Banana Island, though.
Will you manage the banana at least if you don't get the land in Banana Island?
And granite.
Well, Mrs. Ajebo has heard. I wonder if we have time for, a bit more adventure into Tigwala's world. I'd just like to ask one more question.
Okay.
It's normal for some African children to have very little academic prowess. And, when you study Tigwala's character, you understand why you say that you were your mom's prayer point. So is there a resolution for Tigwala, maybe in one of the episodes, because here you are today, a success, despite the challenges that you had, while you were growing up. While you're preparing to answer that, let's watch, one of Tigwala's adventures, and we'll be right back.
YP, power on top of the people. KYP, power on top of the people. My people, my constituency, I am here again. Listen to me. If you vote for me, I'm going to give you good road. I will give you light. I will build schools. I will make you happy.
Excuse me, good politician. I beg come make I talk to you for corner. Now your second time for office be this now. The last one, Shebi, you promise us say you go build school, you go build road. Land where you say you go build school for us. Now there you build club. As we do like this, our transformer. Now we dey use gen, the power of our transformer. No need for the lie, please. I want to advise you, when you go back there, just tell us, say you want thief money. Tell us how much you want thief. Tell us our cut. Everybody is happy. We all go. Eh?
That's true.
These are the issues.
Well, Tigwala is intelligent after all.
Yeah, actually.
Maybe you want to speak to that.
Yeah.
So this is a series I was trying to start. This was a test run. It started, these are the issues where we'll start to address several issues in society. This was just a test run to just see, and it was very well accepted. So I believe that what we have is comedy, first of all. As a comedian, you're a social commentator to address issues, right? And in whatever form of expression that you have, you should be able to talk about issues. If not, you're just going to be just that guy that makes people laugh, and you're not creating any impact, So basically, what I try to do is to use the brand to create some sort of impact, and that's it, and that's one of it, So tomorrow we can talk about drugs on the street. Tomorrow we can talk about any other thing, But that's the idea of these are the issues, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I was asking if there's a resolution for Tigwala as a character that has no academic aspiration. I remember a particular edition where he was asked to go and buy drug for his mom, and it was a disaster. I'm sure you remember, right?
So Tigwala, like I said, it was we touched on different. It was March story, and it's not like he's not good with academics. Excuse me. He just likes to play, and that was me. Like I would play, and then I'll get into the exam hall, and then I'll come home with my results. Like I can come third this term, and the next time I come 22nd. And my mom is like, how? So, but then it was obvious that I was very intelligent, and then that brings in the African mom's hard way of correction, So, and then if you watch more, you see there's an episode where Tigwala was angry with Tiga for a period. It was like, you are the reason I'm always failing. Every time, let's play. And then he started to roll with Toye, who is the class captain, and Tigwala came first. Like nobody believed it, Like they're getting better. So we rather let them know that there are children out there. That's to let them, parents and everybody, know that there are children out there that they are intelligent, but with a little more attention to work, they'll do better in class.
Right, and I think that's a very important point. I mean, this will be the love gift from parents to their children. Understand your children, spend more time with them so you know who they are. As we wind down, it's Valentine's Day. By the way, your YouTube channel, almost 2 million. Right. So we need to get Ajebo to 2 million, right? So you can go subscribe.
So 1.96.
Yeah, 1.96. So we need to get into 2 million.
Yeah.
And I know that there's the economic angle. You make a lot of money from that as well.
Thank you, Lord.
We're not talking about that today. So they don't bill you more. But let's wind out with the Valentine special.
Right.
As we wind out on the show this morning. So it's over to you, Ajebo. Maybe a story from the past, your Valentine's experience. Maybe Tegwolo's Valentine's experience.
Maybe Tegwolo's heartbreak.
Has he ever had a girlfriend?
Have I ever, who? No. He's a child now. He doesn't have relationships. Now we get relationships. So I've not really had a major heartbreak that you now say, they serve me breakfast. We always see it coming from a mile. So we'll meet in the middle.
I like that.
I like that.
Sharp guy.
Sharp guy.
So we always, and then I always made sure, back in the days, I always made sure that, we settle amicably so that no swear will follow us into the future. So but let me just tell you about maybe my love story of how I met my wife. So I'm from Abia State in Ohafia. From Ohafia, and if you know about our people, we have this thing where we marry ourselves a lot. In fact, Ohafia parents put pressure on their daughters to marry an Ohafia man, if you're aware of that. So I'm the third, she's the third. And if there was anybody in the family that would never fall for that pressure, it was me and her and her family. Right? So we're the outgoing, like you think I would have even married abroad or something. So I went for a show about that was like 10 years ago, because we've been 10 years, but 6 years married. And, after the show, somebody that was with me met her, I was talking to her, and she was like, oh, from Abia State, from Ohafia. And the guy says, oh, my friend, he says, you need to meet someone. And it was like, hey, boss, come. And I'm like, hey, she says it's from Ohafia. And I'm like, no.
Oh, no way.
No way. Ohafia doesn't have fine girls like this. And her response was, you've been meeting the wrong ones. Abaya. Anyways, at that time...
Cupid.
So at that time, her phone was already off. Mine was off. We went to Ibadan for the show. I gave her 5 complimentary cards.
Just in case?
Yes, I said, see, I've saved your number somewhere. Just in case we both lose our phones, not in case we never... Give this card to somebody, give this one to have it in 5 different places. Backup. Somehow I just felt like I was so sure I'd met my wife. So it was not the half-year thing, but we got talking, and from there, we have 3 children now.
Fantastic story.
That's so sweet, actually. You have such a beautiful family. So I love to your daughters and your wife.
And don't forget to subscribe. Let's get Ajebo's YouTube channel to 2 million. Yes. So we're counting already. Thank you so much, Ajebo. Awesome segment. So many lessons.
Thank you.
See it from afar. So look at it. So you see what I mean by love responsibly. All right. The next leg of our conversation is up next now, where we serenade you on Valentine's Day. It's that surprise we've got for you. So stay with the Morning Brief. We'll be right back.
All right, let's get into our special for you. It's Valentine's Day. What is Valentine's without music? That very sonorous music. Maybe the parara as well. But today on the show, we have 2 amazing personalities. That is what they do, essentially. You must have caught some part of their work. Beautiful music, soul-piercing music. The kind of music that will give you goosebumps. The kind of music that will make you fall in love. I'll just stop right here, all right? And introduce our guest. We have joining us on the show, Nwako Joy Jansi. She is a musician and beautifully dressed, I must say. Good morning, Jansi.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good to have you on the Morning Brief.
Yes, amazing to be.
And just right next to her, as you can see, is Efe Macrock, a composer, music producer. calls himself a captivating artist. I like that. Good morning, welcome to the morning.
It's so good to be here. Happy Valentine to you all.
I know, wish you the same. I love the blend, white and red. Are these like the colors of Valentine?
Colors of love.
Yeah. Right, so this is peace. This is love.
Yeah.
Peace and love together.
Yeah, so I'm in line, no?
you got wearing brown.
What does brown stand?
Plus blue, plus a little blue.
And I have been pacified, with Effie joining me on the red theme on the program.
And she's joining me on the white. And I've got my...
I have a bit of white now. You should
know there's red blood flowing through our veins. But guys, music plays a major role when it comes to love. I can't count how many people fell in love just through music. You know, music has that thing it does. Without your permission, it just pierces into your soul. You don't know it, but music is doing its thing. And today's Valentine's, we're celebrating love. I'd like you to speak to what you guys do. I fear musicians because of the power that you guys will. But speak to us about the power of music when it comes to love. We'll come to all of these props.
Basically, music is a healing tool.
Yeah.
You know, it's a mood of communication. Yeah, that's why sometimes when you're feeling some certain way, you listen to some kind of music. It jacks up your vibration, it jacks up your energy. Now that's music for you. Music is a tool of peace. Music is a tool of health. Music is a tool. Music is everything. Music is love. There's no love without music. That's why you see sometimes those days, you know, when you want to toast your baby, you know, you sing songs, you know, play songs, you know, or you copy lyrics from songs then turn to text message. So music is really powerful, and I'm actually really humbled and honored to be in the music industry, to be a musician, to be a composer. You know, it's a lot of power, it's a lot of responsibility, you know, using our tools to spread love and joy.
And you have amazing sessions, I must say. They're always beautiful. And Yancy, I've heard you sing, and I'm like, what is going on here? You have such a powerful voice.
Thank you.
You know, you've been blessed so much, both of you. Yes, everyone has been blessed with different gifts, but we're focusing on music this morning. But tell us how you maybe harness that gift and how you're using it to make an impact.
Oh, well, I had to study. I had to learn from the SPAN Academy of Jazz and Contemporary Music.
Right.
SPAN meaning Society for the Performing Arts in Nigeria. So I studied under the tutelage of Bright Gain, and it was tough, I must tell you. They get you to do what you have to do, whether you like it or not. And I mean, they try to imbibe in us discipline.
Yeah.
You know, where motivation stops, that's where discipline comes in to continue. You know, and then you do your part at home. And of course, with the help of friends, people like Macrock and all, you know, you get to use it well. And there's this creative part in you that there's this yearning that's always inside. Now, when you have the skill, you merge it with that passion, that yearning inside of you. And before you know, you're creating magic. That's just it.
And speaking of magic, you know, Kadi was talking about the power of music earlier, and just watching your sessions, and one is captivated, you know, by what you're creating. And sometimes I wonder, do you go for the artists, or do the artists come to you? Are they drawn to you by what you're doing? And what's the inspiration behind all of those sessions that you produce? Okay, so basically the inspiration started out for, okay, let me be very truthful. I'm on TV, you know. I am a music producer, yeah. So I was not asking myself, I said, so before I would blow, I would produce a song that the artist will promote, and then the artist will start shouting about me before people will now know me. I'm like, nah, it's really too far. Like, you know, I want to own a piece of. So, you know, I started out, you know, I just call a singer. We just use a phone camera, and then I would just play. She would just sing. The singer would just, yeah, with my phone camera. So I just posting it on Instagram. Then the first time I posted it in 2019, I got my first organic 1,000 views. I'm like, there's actually something here. Posted it again, you know, tractions, you know. I'm like, okay. So I just started. There was no plan. There was no drawing board. It was just consistency. It just went. Then, you know, I started using it as a platform to discover great unheard artists. You understand? You know, great singers are looking for such platforms. Not everybody actually wants to really go the Afrobeat way. Not everybody actually wants to go the Afro pop, what is trending. They are really good, amazing singers like Chance. You know,
you probably not hear her on an Afro pop, but she's an amazing singer. So I'm like, okay, let's create a community, let's create a platform where we can showcase these amazing singers. Now we've moved from there. Now we're trying to sell peace. We're selling health. We're selling therapeutic music. You know, I export to a lot of, you know, music vendors, people that they need calm, they need, you know, so that's the whole beauty of it. From artistry to exporting artists, for African artists to the world. Then now we're now selling peace and tranquility.
So are you worried by the lyrics of what is going on now with the music that we hear? Because when we're trying to do some selection of the songs, and you go back to the 90s, it felt like that was when a lot of things were said, and we're still carrying on what was said in the 90s, 2024. If you were to make a suggestion to the industry as to, yes, we need to bounce and vibe, but this lyrics thing, we need to work around it, what would you be saying to them to infuse? Because you can't totally take away what we have today.
The secret is that a lot of our songs right now, they are still deep. They are still actually strong in lyric content, but we are all overshadowed by the beats. So that's why when we strip them down, people now actually hear what they actually are saying. Like, okay, there was this popular one that I did, Ajebo by Infinity. I didn't even know the meaning of the song until I did the session. And I started went to Google, searched the lyrics, and then we stripped it down, and I'm like, this is powerful. You know, that's an old song, but they are still really powerful songs. But a lot of people, because of attention span, you know, everybody just wants to vibe. You understand? We just get the chorus. But the truth is that there are still some good people with good pen games, still writing great lyrics. So, you know, this is the time that we're in. We can't compare that time to now.
You know, so what we're going to do on the show this morning is quite special. We're going to, is it groove now? We want to groove, but, you know, the right way with some very rich music. By the way, also, we're going to be exchanging gifts. So we picked ourselves randomly some days ago, so we'll be exchanging gifts on the show. That's why you see some of these things.
With some music.
So, with some music. Yeah. So we're going to give you time to approach the hallowed chamber there where your keyboard is. Well, you tell us
our
what song.
Discovery space.
You know, so what song do you want to do first? At some point, we'll join you. Okay. You know, some of us have talent.
We'll do maybe a little karaoke.
Definitely.
What do you want to do first, and what does it mean?
Okay, so we have a set list. We prepared a set list for your hand, Burna Boy, to African Queen, to Run Into You, and then we can all vibe.
I love it. I love it. So we will share our gifts, and then we'll just let you move there.
Okay, good. And, actually, can't wait to hear you sing, though. Your voice.
Yeah. Who's that?
You.
Oh, me.
Your voice.
We'll try it. But, you know, we have the singer. So we'll share our gifts, allow you set up, open our boxes, and just.
So you guys can just move to your sets and get ready while we discover
unravel
ourselves.
our gifts.
So,
I'm supposed to give to Bukola, right? Bukola Corleo.
No,
this is yours.
No, you're giving to Kayode.
No, I'm giving to you.
Our thing.
You are giving to Kayode. Kayode is giving to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Kayode, this is for you.
Thank you very much.
And Bukola, this is for you. My own is big. I hope this is not as soon. Why am I worried about my
I have a note accompanying the exchange.
You do?
If you pardon me.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is for Jeffrey. Jeffrey, the only man at Channels Television who shaves his beard.
Who owns it more like it?
No, I prefer shaves.
Right.
Confident in his non-hairstyle. I like that.
Yeah.
Professional and expansive journalist. Unassuming, a good man in whom there is no guile. Happy Valentine's Day, the man with a tricky first name and surname. If you spell it with J, you are wrong.
You see why they say Valentine
and his surname is also tricky.
Yeah. You see why they say Valentine is for women. I couldn't think of anything.
No, Bukola has a women.
This is for Kayode.
You have to give it to her.
Kayode, godly, funny, creative. He's got a large heart. A journalist with great depth. Oil day your head, Kayode. And thank you for always watching out for me, your Egbon. Happy Valentine's Day, my Aburo.
Okay, we needed to go there.
Bukola, that's really sweet.
So guys, Bukola and Kayode, they've refused to reveal. Okay, no. I know how old Bukola is. Bukola knows how old I am. I am their Egbon.
No way.
But for some reason, they refuse to tell themselves how old they are. So this person says, you are my aburo, you are my aburo, you are my aburo. But I know I'm their egbonsha.
Yeah, that's a fact. But Kayode is my aburo.
I'll take it because I get some pocket money from that. Wow, I got... you got me a suspender.
Yes.
This is so beautiful. I actually want a brown suspender.
I'm in the spirit, actually.
Yeah, this is like for BAB or something.
It's for
now,
your
do you
hair,
know why
actually.
I bought this for Bukola?
Jeffrey got me an alarm clock. I wake up early, Jeffrey, actually.
You don't wake up early. Should I review what happened?
Jancy's laughing.
That is a beautiful gift, by the way. Thank you, Kyle.
So there's a clipper for your head. Sorry for your beards, rather.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. No, you need to. This is beautiful. Thank you so much.
So Valentine's is tomorrow as well. So we'll continue this and the day after.
So it's not just an alarm clock. It's actually a decor that has a lamp.
Right.
So the first impression is a decor, actually.
Beautiful.
That has a lamp. You remember the day Bukola came late and crawled like 007? People didn't know.
You know what? Let's join Jancy.
I was thinking to myself, because we're actually contemplating, what do we buy for ourselves? Should we do something funny and all of that?
So it's a blend of all
So it's a blend of all
That's
of
why
that.
Jeffrey
But
has
I
a
owe you one, by the way. I owe you one.
This
is just to make sure you wake up early.
But I wake up early.
Okay, but you crawled in front of the camera.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's. Thank you.
Happy Valentine's.
All right. Thank you, guys.
So it's time to enjoy the music part of Valentine's Day.
Okay, we're meant to sit or stand?
All right, it's all yours. Okay, we're supposed to start with them.
Yes.
All right.
Like the vixens, right?
Let's start with the African Queen. Let's see.
Just like the sun, light up the earth, you light up my life. The only one
So we can try, right?
Really? Get it together.
Please, my family, if you're watching, this is not to disgrace you. They made us do this.
I don't want to cause problems myself.
Okay, let's go.
2, 3, go.
You are my African queen,
the girl of my dreams.
You take me where I've never been. You make my heart go ting-a-ling-a-ling.
Oh no.
You are my African queen.
Oh yes you are.
The girl of my dreams.
Remind me of a thing.
Remind me of a thing.
Okay.
And that is the African beauty. I'm sure you guys have a lot more for us. I'm sure you guys have a lot more for us.
Okay, so we're just going to sign out now, and as we sign out,
are we signing out?
Yeah. Are we signing out?
Are we signing out?
Wait. Oh, you have Valentine's Day. I can see. Oh wow. Wait. We have 4 more minutes.
We have 4 more minutes.
We're going to milk it. By the way, we need to thank Two-Face for that beautiful song, and the other one, "Running to You," by Chike.
Yeah.
Brilliant song. Just to give you your flowers. These are some of the artists that are making Nigeria proud. Have made Nigeria proud. Are making and will make Nigeria proud. Thank you so much for those beautiful songs. So, Bukola.
We have more songs, right?
Yeah,
we have more songs. I was wondering, time run so fast. I don't know. So let them do the second. Which other songs are you guys doing for us?
So wait a minute.
Which one?
Bukola had a song.
Running to You is by Chike, right?
Chike, yes.
Okay, yeah.
We done that. So Bukola had a song.
No, Jeffrey go next. Jeffrey goes next.
No, we brought them to sing. Let's not embarrass ourselves. They are the singers. So what other songs are you guys doing? Is there any other one you're doing?
Yeah, Someone Like You.
Which one is that?
Someone Like You.
Someone Like You. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Let's hear it. Let's see.
Because some people don't really have Valentine, so let us not forget about them.
Is it the one by Adele?
Yes.
Adele.
I need to grab a chair for this.
Please do.
Don't worry. Do your thing.
Do your thing. Let's see how I can achieve it in 2-3 minutes.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead.
That reminds me of that Westlife song, man. I was like, you know that song to be loved, Westlife? No, I don't know. No.
Jeffrey took
flight. It's been long,
okay. Why do you look? How do you feel when you deliver song?
When you deliver that kind of song, how do you keep your composure?
Because you keep asking us to sing, and I'm like,
what do we sing?
I'm going to sing after hearing her.
What are you going to sing?
What do you want us to? You want us to sing after?
Okay, what do you want us to sing?
Well, how do you feel, really?
I feel good. I get to, think about the lyrics. I try to put myself in the mind of the writer, and I just feel the music. The music brings back memories, so you just look for that memory, that feeling the song reminds you of, and then you just key into it. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful.
Did you have like a story too? It sounds like you can relate really well. Do you have a story along that line?
I don't think I need to have a story. The song in itself is a story. So if you listen to it, you would get the story and you will feel most importantly, feel.
So you can get yourself into the mood of the writer of the lyrics,
exactly.
you know, whatever the story is.
Whatever the story is.
Awesome. You're a wonderful performer.
That line is just untrue, man. Sometimes it lasts and lasts.
Yeah, continue. Continue.
Instead.
Come on now.
Come on.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I remember you say sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Oh, music. That's what we call it in this.
You know what?
Beautiful.
Doing music
And this was the one I wanted to sing. I wonder if you can help me. I don't know the
Well, we're totally out of time.
Try.
We're totally out of time, Back row.
That's by Timmy Dakolo, by the way. A song from 12 years ago.
There you go. We've had so much fun.
Beautiful.
You took Bukola back in the days. You know, Bukola had to dig it out. This is something
She actually sings good though.
very well. She's our representative. But guys, we have to thank you so much. We're having so much fun, but we have to run. Valentine's Day is still how many hours to go? So make the very most of it. But I'd like to thank our guest this morning, Emefiele McCrock, and you see him. Captivating artist, literally. He's a producer, a composer, and so much more. In fact, a fashion icon, as you can see. As well as Wako Joy Jancy, the beautiful musician. Thank you. I would like to thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's so much we can take on the show this morning. Valentine's Day continues, right? So let's love responsibly.
Yes, love responsibly.
I'm Kayode Okikiolu.
I'm Bukola Koka.
And I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Happy Valentine's.